My thoughts naturally lean towards business, sales, growth, systems, creation, and nearly everything that is in the future. And I want to speak about this because I don't struggle with quote unquote racing thoughts or whatever those who have severe anxiety or depression or seek out help struggle with. And I don't want to make this sound like I'm some type of business savant who's incredibly only business oriented, but I am structured in a way, my mind processes things in a way where when I wake up, when I am by myself naturally, the things I think about are all business related. They are all growth related. They are, where do I want my future to be? What actions do I need to put in place to get there? And how can I put myself on the directional path towards where I want to go? And I don't consider it to be a problem. I don't consider it to be a blessing. I just consider it to be it is what it is. My struggle comes when I can't turn it off. When I'm sitting at home with Maddie and should be there presently, and I can't turn my brain off to the business and where it needs to go and what I need to work on. I don't focus on problems of today or problems of yesterday. I've typically already figured those out. What I focus on is what needs to happen for this to come true and what needs to happen for this to come true. And I still focus on future ideations of where I want to be and where I want to go and what I want the business to look like and what I want my life to look like and how I want to act and who I want to be and what I want to be and how I want to be remembered once it's all over. But then I immediately just start thinking about the actions that need to be taken. And then I can feel myself do it because there's times where my eyes just do this. And it's not that I can't turn it off. It's that I can't turn it off. And how I've hedged against this is now I look for friends who are not entrepreneurs, who are not business oriented, who focus more on their personal lives, who don't work at a company that they own. They work a salary job that they want to turn off. And the reason that I do that is because my mind naturally works in work. I naturally think about work. When I wake up in the morning, I think about work. I think about how to improve Adam. I think about getting to work on Adam. And I think about how I can impact my business and where I want the business to go and where I need to be so that I can impact the business to go in that direction. And I start working towards all of that, but it's where my mind naturally goes to. And I think it's a blessing and a curse that I have built myself to throughout life, through going to college and through creating businesses and failing as often as I have, that I just think those are my quote unquote spiraling thoughts, if you want to call them that. I naturally think in business, I naturally think in systems, and I naturally think in sequence, and I naturally think about who I need to be and how I need to act and what I need to perform in order to get there. And my only hedge against that, the only time that it's truly silent is when I'm around people who are not in that same form of mind, I'm around people where I can speak about my grass outside and my house here and I don't know, my marriage and just other points of life that aren't my business, but I need to be around people who aren't entrepreneurs or who aren't in these networking groups because people who tend to join these networking groups, they are all business oriented people, which it's great to be around other people who I consider to be high level thinkers. I think that I'm a high level thinker, at least in a certain form, but I don't want to spend my life around these people who are ultimately consumed by business. As much as I want my business to grow, as much as I want to achieve everything that I want to achieve, and you want to be around high level achievers, and my mind is naturally there. I don't need to get around other people to force growth out of myself. I can force growth myself. You know what I mean? So I'm not entirely too worried about who I am when I'm by myself. I already know that I'm going to push for growth and do this and do that, and I can make future plans. I would like to be personally around others who aren't in that frame of mind. I don't want to join more networking groups. Every time that I go to a networking group, I find it is people who struggle to get themselves into the conversation, struggle who get themselves into the mind. I wake up naturally in that mind. I don't need to get around other people to then stimulate my mind to go to business and how to grow and what actions need to be taken. I can figure that out for myself. And I don't want to say that as in hubristically, and I don't want to say it arrogantly. It's just how my mind has been built over time through reading hundreds of books, through watching hundreds of podcasts, through studying YouTube videos, through reading biographies, through all of the things that I've ever done in my life have pointed me in this direction. My thoughts have been formed through experiences and through what I've read. And everything that I have allowed myself to read or brought myself to read or others have brought me to read has all been in the same form and faction of growth and self-development, personal finance, sales, business, operations, biographies, autobiographies of the people who have been successful and left a legacy and made a mark on history. And it's where my mind naturally goes to now and has gone to for a long time. So I don't need to put myself in a room full of people to then ignite my mind to do this. I would be one of the people that these people want to be around, in my opinion. So why would I need to go and spend my time around them? If anything, I would just sit there in silence anyways and try and listen to others. So it may be a good room for me to be in once a month or once a quarter or something, but up until now, I have usually just spent time by myself and reading, and the rooms that I put myself in, I try to put myself in rooms with people who are far above me. And for the most part, I don't know if those people are actually in rooms out here. I think that they would be out sailing. So I tend to stick to the social media rooms in terms of podcasts when interviewing these highly successful people in the business realm that I play in. So yeah, my only way of silencing and where my mind goes is naturally toward business. So now I hedge against that to become more of a person and to experience more of life instead of experiencing more of business. So I try to seek out people who are in love with life, in love with their personal lives, everything outside of work. They work because they have a family to go home to that they want to spend all their time with. Those are the type of people that I seek out these days.